This is not just me telling you, hey, this is what you should do. This is me asking you, what was your decision making for the different settings and the different setups that you've done? And then based on your logic, I can then maybe correct you or come with the alternative approach. And then we try to figure out how we can overall have a better setup and make sure that you get better performance. Sure, you can grow organically, but it's just going to take you a lot longer. Having your budgets spread across a lot of different campaigns when you're not spending that much can be leading to a much worse overall result. You actually need at least 50 conversion events per ad set in a 7-day period to exit the learning phase. There's definitely a demand delay when you start to go beyond the warm audience, right? Because people need to build that trust. It's too many cold people that haven't had the time to warm up. How are you, man?
I'm fine, thanks. I was already had finished to make a live on Instagram the first time for me.
Oh, okay, cool.
I made the gift list for the Christmas present.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, I see you're making a lot of ads yourself. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Show some behind the scenes, and that's really nice.
Yeah, because we need to make more organic content because all paid ads is good, but not so good like organic clients is the best one.
Yeah, for sure.
To make. I know someone then able to make sales without advertising, but it's not so easy. Also, if you want to scale, if you want to increase your company, you must do the advertising.
Yeah, for sure. It's also a much faster way to grow. Sure, you can grow organically, but it's just going to take you a lot longer. And right now, the opportunity to scale with paid ads, it's still pretty good. You know, of course, if you started running Facebook ads back in 2016 or something, would be probably a lot easier because the CPMs were such lower. You know, it was just a cheaper advertising platform. But it's still possible to do it profitably. You know, there's still like a nice opportunity there. It's just a little bit more difficult.
I believe it. I really believe it. Just one problem is that all the people now want to make advertising, want to sell online. So like 5 years ago, nobody cares about sales because everybody sells in the store. Everybody sells like an agent, like in other way. Right now, everybody wants to sell online. So after we have some business, there is more difficult to enter, and everybody can sell like bracelets, like accessories, everybody. But I know that there is just one thing that makes a difference. It only depends on us. Only depends on how much you are convinced, how much you believe in something. So you will find a way. But I'm gonna be honest. There are many businesses that are more easy than what we do. So when you run your business and then you find some complication, you think about, oh, maybe I can do another business. Maybe I can sell home furniture. Maybe I can sell running stuff. Maybe I can sell T-shirts. You know, and sometimes, honestly, everything is difficult. But for sure, there are. Many business that is more easy because you business make online business. For the moment, we have to find the golden nuggets where we can make some profit, not too much, and then we can scale the business. But if I come back to 20,000 euro, on my e-commerce right now is 2,050K. So I made a lot of things in 1 year and a half. So I'm gonna
it's amazing.
About it. I don't know how many profits I have. Maybe I'm in the break even. I'm here or just 5% below the break even, but I make it. Now the difficult is to scale and to be profits.
Yeah,
profitable
for sure.
And you can help me to make it right.
Yes. So I took a deep dive into your ad account, and of course there's a lot of data to look at, and without that much context to it, like I haven't been part of it for the months throughout the year that you've been advertising, it's like a lot to take in. So I'll give you the first and foremost, like the big things that I see. And we can discuss this. This is not just me telling you, hey, this is what you should do. This is me asking you, like, what was your decision making for the different settings and the different setups that you've done? And then based on your logic, I can then maybe correct you or come with the alternative approach. And then we try to figure out how we can overall have a better setup and make sure that you get better performance. So the first thing that I see when I go into your ad account, and let me actually share my screen so that you see what I'm looking at. So the first thing that I notice when I went into the ad account is how many active campaigns you have. And that's always a little bit of like something I notice, especially when you don't have that big of a budget, you know. In my experience and a lot of other people's experience in the advertising landscape, having your budgets spread across a lot of different campaigns when you're not spending that much can be leading to a much worse overall result than if you consolidated and you prioritized your ad spend on fewer variables. Because in addition to having a lot of campaigns, your current overall spend in your ad account is spread across multiple different ad sets, you know?
Yeah.
And the optimization happens on the ad set level. So this is why you have the learning limited or the learning phase. Maybe you've heard about it. That is something that Meta added to the ads manager to show you that you actually need at least 50 conversion events per ad set in a 7-day period to exit the learning phase. Yeah. And the number of 50 is just like, I don't really think it's that important that it needs to be specifically 50. But the main point is that there should be, you know, quite a lot of conversion events per ad set, because that's going to allow the algorithm to figure out who is more likely to buy. And because the targeting is set on the ad set level, that will also then improve the targeting. I'll get back to talking a little bit about that specific thing, because I see that you've been, if you look at this report right here, this is your spend, and you've obviously increased the budget in your ad account a lot the last few days, right? Okay. Quite significantly compared to like the daily spend that you've had any other period so far this year. But it doesn't seem like it's yielding you results yet, at least. And because you have a limited period.
Okay, because you mean that it's not good to increase too much in slow period, in a few periods.
Well, the problem here is that, well, it's, of course, you're basing this, you're forecasting that based on last year's result, you would hit much better results this year. And that would allow you to, you know, use this amount of money on ads. Yeah. But as you're currently seeing, the efficiency is not holding up. If we're looking at just the last 7 days and let's compare it to previous period, massive increase in spend, but the efficiency is not holding up. So what that tells me is when you increase it somewhere around here, you've scaled beyond your current cap. In other words, there's not enough warm enough people in your audience that take action when they see your ads, because you're now scaling up so far that you have to target wider, because you need more impressions. So it goes from just like the lukewarm audience, you know, the people that have maybe seen your ads a few times before. Okay. Maybe they've been on your website, or maybe they're in that mind state of looking for bracelets, right? So even though haven't seen your brand before, the algorithm sees that this is a person that more likely will buy a bracelet. But when you go even broader, there will be less of those people. And because of the bid strategy that you have, which is highest volume, which I'll talk more about later. Okay. But you're telling Meta, hey, this is my daily spend. You can just go ahead and spend it. Just give me as many sales as possible. But if it's not able to get you sales at that ROAS number that you need to be profitable, you will still spend your daily ad spend because of the bid strategy that you put on the campaign or the ad set. Okay. So you're not limiting your downside basically with the current setup. And I think you've gone way past your current scaling cap. Sure, you made a forecast based on last year's results, but that prediction that you have is just not true. You're not able to capitalize as much as you hoped, but you're still then burning through ad spend that doesn't yield a good result. Okay. So we need to minimize that, and I'll get back to talking about the bid strategy that I suggest. I see you already been kind of trying it out, the ROAS target and the cost per result goal. Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, how I suggest you do it now.
So for you, Ole, the amount of spend that I'm spending right now is too much for my audience, because you mean that with that kind of spend, with that amount of spend, the impression is very big. respect the other one. And you mean that new people see my brand, but they are not trust about me. So the conversion does not happen in this period. My baby, I still continues to advertise, and maybe they will buy, they will become a customer in the next 2 months. You mean like this? Or
Yes, there's a demand delay. So there could be a combination of things happening, but there's definitely a demand delay when you start to go beyond the warm audience, right? Because people need to build that trust, but you want them to convert now immediately, right? Because of the holidays. So you might see a return on this increase in spend, but that return might happen into next year later on.
Okay.
So it's you want the return quickly right now because it's the opportunity, it's the holidays, you want people to buy gifts, but they just don't have the trust yet, right? So I think the results that you're currently seeing is from like the impressions that you've gotten throughout the year, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And this increase, it's too quick. It's too many cold people that haven't had the time to warm up.
Yeah, because, like Saturday and Sunday, we had something around 6,500 people in the website. In only one day, conversion rate was like 0.45, too low. If I have to compare, I respect the Black Friday, Cyber Monday was unbelievable because it was around 2.2. Was crazy. And the last day of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I going down with the budget, but the result was very, very, very good. So I'm reasoning about the result that I can see in the Christmas period, but I never think about the cold audience don't spend immediately, but they need to change. They need to trust our brand. You understand what you mean? I understand.
Yeah. So that's proof of the theory that I had, right? You have a lot, people they like the product, they're interested, right? But they need to build more trust before they buy. And that's why you were able to, because of the Black Friday sale, you capitalizing on the warm up that you did throughout the year. But now you want to scale again, right? Because of the forecast based on last year's results, but you already capitalized probably a lot of the sales during Black Friday. And now you get a lot of traffic, but it's just not converting, right? Because they need more time to warm up. So you get a lot of traffic, but as you see, your conversion rate from that traffic is just not converting.
It's too low. But what do you think about the overall data, click-through rate, CPM, video views? It could be good for my target, for my business or not?
You can have a really low click-through rate. And let's say, the clicks that you do get are such high value that it makes up for it, the low click-through rate. So some businesses don't need to have a high click-through rate to have a really profitable campaign.
Okay.
Other businesses, like you don't get that much value per traffic. You might have a small average order value. In that case, you're more dependent on like getting a lot of people from your ads onto your website. You need to have more. Yeah. So we don't look at like you can't compare necessarily that directly with other businesses and just look at the benchmark click-through rate. It just all depends. At the end of the day, what we want to look at is how does this affect your bottom line, your net profit, and that's we work that backwards. That's always how we do it. So let me go over some more findings. Another thing regarding your current setup with having a lot of campaigns and ad set is that there will be some overlap, and sometimes overlap within an ad account isn't that big of a deal. Like if you have 7-day click attribution, I don't know how familiar you are with the different attribution settings. I see that.
I see something about the 7-click 1-day views and 7-click attribution in your video. I think that was really interesting. The problem is that I didn't apply only 7-day click because I think when I'm setting the campaign that was too late to make 7-day click, because I think the algorithm gonna see also the people that view the content, and maybe it can understand if that kind of customer could be good for me. Not only 7-day click, but I think that 7-day click in the long period was the best strategy without 1-day view. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you need to have a long-term approach to this in terms of optimizing for 7-day click. The thing is, if you have more marketing efforts, let's say you spend a lot on Google ads, top of funnel, maybe you have TikTok ads, or maybe you have a lot of organic people coming through. Well, in that case, 7-day click is going to be much more important for you to use because you don't want your campaigns to take credit for sales they didn't generate. That's the thing that can happen is the Meta just really, at the end of the day, wants the results to look as good as possible within the ads manager because that means you're going to spend more money on Meta.
Yeah. But sometimes it's not real because I see when I setting the attribution setting in 7-day click, 1-day view, I see some ads that kind of ROAS that was amazing. But when I go inside the website, the result not the same. The result was so bad respect the campaign. So it was wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to avoid. We want to optimize for spending the money on Meta that generates sales, not spending the dollars on getting impressions that isn't necessary. Like that person, even though they saw your ad, would buy anyways. Maybe they would buy from your organic posting on Instagram. You're doing a great job organically on Instagram, and that can also generate sales. Now, Meta will want to try to take credit for that because that means you're more likely to continue to spend money on ads, which is their objective, right? But yeah, what can happen is like with smaller advertisers, such as yourself, when you don't have a massive daily budget, the difference of switching on a short-term basis from 7-day click, 1-day view to only 7-day click is not going to be that big necessarily because you don't have a big budget on TikTok or Pinterest or, most of your money is probably just going to Meta right now. I had a quick look at your Google ads and there's almost nothing there. So I assume you don't spend a lot on Google.
No, I just want to focus on Facebook ads because I just want to building a certain result on Facebook ads and then I want to move it because 2 years ago I'm studying TikTok and I was thinking to start advertising that. I spend like 3-4K without any result and then I give up. Right now, I want to use TikTok, but only with organic content, the same one that we use for Instagram, or maybe we can change it, that kind of content, but organic one, not, I don't want to pay right now because I need to focus on one platform and then I want to move and add other one because I tried last year Google Ads, but was so bad for us, was so bad. Also with performance bugs, the result was so bad. I don't know if you have some experience on Google Ads, but for me, it's no good.
Yeah. Well, for you, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's just not right now because you're in an early stage. But it will make sense for you to continue to run bottom of funnel. I'll get back to talking about Google Ads a little bit later because we have a lot to cover regarding Meta ads right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one thing. So overlap between advertising platforms, but that doesn't really apply to you right now because you're only doing Facebook ads or Meta ads. But there's still overlap within Meta ads because you're running multiple different ad sets and campaigns. And this is what I think could be a game changer for you, or at least it could improve your performance. We've actually seen that when we minimize the overlap within the ad account, it can, in some cases, we've seen it takes an ad account from slightly below break even to profitable spending because they're spending some of their budget on stuff that's just much better to spend that same money on one campaign, like the main campaign. There's no need to spread it out because what happens is oftentimes, and I've seen this happening in your account as well, you're not excluding the warm audiences from your main or highest spending campaign. So the retargeting campaign and the high spending campaign or the prospecting campaign that you sometimes call it, they go after like the same audience to a certain degree. So there's overlap there. And that makes it a little bit more expensive for you. You're having unnecessary amount of overlap. If you spent all that same money on just one ad set, one campaign, then you will still do retargeting. You don't need to segment that out to a different campaign, especially not at your spend level. It's just not necessary. You can let the algorithm itself figure out how many times people need to see an ad to convert. You don't need to manually select that, especially at your current spend level. Like the algorithm's just going to be much better at figuring that out. So that's one big thing is like consolidate your ad account, simplify the setup, and like stack all the best performing creatives and ads in fewer ad sets. And I think in your case, that can be one prospecting campaign where you have multiple, like all your best performing creatives, and you always try to outcompete by, adding in new creatives on a weekly basis, or it's as often as you can. And you can have another campaign that's dynamic catalog campaign because that works well for you.
Yeah, works very good. But for you, Ole, one campaign with the winning ads, with the best performing ads, you mean Advantage Plus, CBO, ABO?
Yeah. CBO, ABO doesn't matter because I think you should only have one ad set.
Okay.
You should only have one ad set. You should also have a ROAS target on it because you have multiple different SKUs. You have orders coming in at different values and different margins. So you should have a ROAS target. Now, in your case, you want it to still have volume, right? So if you put a ROAS target of 3, well, then you're probably not going to hit the desired volume. Yeah. So what I would do for your case now, I think so far this month or last 7 days, what's the number? If we look here, I think the ROAS is 1.3 on the new campaign, which is currently your highest spender. Let me just double check that. Yes, 1.3. So for this one, which is currently, pretty sure this one is highest volume bid strategy. Yeah, multiple different bid strategies. Highest volume is the, except this one, you have a cost control here. Yeah. This one is not getting spent. Yeah. This one is high volume. So what you would do here, you would switch this one to highest value, right? Or ROAS goal, ROAS target, and that would automatically make it to highest value.
You think that you need to switch?
Oh, you need to switch the whole thing. So right now it's highest volume. What I would do is duplicate the campaign, and before you publish, you just change all this stuff, right? Then you just delete all the ad sets except this one, right? And then you look within the other ad sets and you just put all of the ads that show a little bit of potential into this one. Then you let that one run. Yeah, you just keep that one because you can, when you duplicate it, you can keep the engagement that you've gotten so far. So yeah, we'll just keep that with this one. And then everything else you delete after you like put the winning ads per ad set, or the ads that show some sort of potential. A lot of them will probably show like good ROAS or something, but it hasn't gotten a lot of spend. So the results aren't proven yet, right? So, but you will still add it in here and then you will just kill it as soon as it gets volume if it doesn't show potential anymore when it has more volume in terms of ad spend, right? That's how I would do it. And then, make sure you set the ROAS target to maybe 1.2. So you're currently at 1.3, but set it to 1.2. And the reason for that is we want to keep the same volume, right? You don't want to have the campaign stop spending. Okay. So we start at 1.2, and then we gradually, as we gain momentum after stacking all the best ads in one ad set, and all the data is now coming into just one ad set. Once the performance gets better, we can slowly increase the target. Right, so 1.2, then we wait maybe 7 days, so increase it to 1.3, and depending how the performance develops, we can change the target slightly. Now, the good thing about doing it this way is that when this campaign has run for a long time, it gains momentum, it has a lot of data. The ads within the campaign has a lot of engagement, right? So engagement, you probably already seen this yourself. Once an ad has more engagement, it also gets better performance. And over time, when you have this campaign, you don't need to start a new campaign when you want to start using the ROAS target. You already have the ROAS target set to the campaign. And now all we need to do is change the target itself. So if you were to have a highest volume as you have now, right now, what we need to do is we need to duplicate the campaign and start a new one, because this will be such a significant edit or a significant change to the campaign that you would have to essentially put it through the learning again. So we want to avoid that from happening in the future, because the ROAS target is really good for you because it minimizes the negative, the downside, but it gives you a lot of upside because you can have a higher daily budget, but the campaign will not spend that budget unless it hits that target. Of course, not a day-to-day basis, but over time, you will force Meta to hit a certain ROAS by doing it this way. So that's how I would do that one. And because you see pretty good results with the catalog, you should have a catalog campaign as well. Yeah, the catalog was very good. Also this summer in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the catalog for me is very good. It's very good. Not so good right now, but I think that I was making some mistakes that you showed me right now. So, okay, I understand that thing. So what do you think about the different targeting? So maybe sometimes I use the targeting, for example, accessories and then jewelry. I use that. You don't need to worry about any of this.
Okay.
Don't worry about any of this. The targeting, the only thing you should think about right now, because you have historic data in your ad account, setting interests and stuff like that is not going to help you. Not anymore.
Okay.
It worked like last year, or like maybe even more than last year, but it doesn't work anymore. Not to the same degree. Unless you have a totally fresh ad account. If you have a totally new ad account, it could help to give it some direction in terms of, hey, we think these interests and these,
okay.
But for you have so much historic data that at this point it doesn't matter. What you should think about in terms of targeting is when you use 7-day click and highest value, that is your new targeting. That is the targeting setup, because you want to optimize to put your ads in front of people that actually click on them, not the people that view them, the people that click. Because this data signal is much more correlated to the fact that this view, the impression that you got, actually generated a sale. And then when they actually click on it, it's much better. So you will, over time, the targeting will start to put the ads in front of people that are more likely to click. If they're more likely to click, they're also more likely to be interested in your products, right?
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you. But this campaign with the exclusion of 68 purchase with 180 purchase, you will use that exclusion to target new customer, or you don't use it?
Sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't. The reason why we sometimes don't use it is because when we add on the exclusion, for some reason, it just messes up the optimization a little bit. Yeah. In other cases, when there's a lot of existing, it also depends on the business model. Because in your case, I think it would make a lot of sense for a lot of people to come back and buy another product really quickly, right? If there's a business model where it's like a one-time purchase, or it's a subscription or something where the LTV is pretty high, then it doesn't make sense to continue to advertise to someone who's signed up, right? Okay. That's just a waste of money. But in your case, if advertising towards an existing customer generates a click, well, then it's pretty likely they clicked on it because they want to go in. They're still interested, right? They're not totally done with doing business with you, right? So because of the new setup that I suggest, where you don't have a specific retargeting campaign, you can let the main campaign with the highest spend do retargeting for you. You don't need to set this manually. And if you then also optimize for 7-day click, then you don't need to exclude, because you will only place your ads in front of people that click. If a person just recently bought and the algorithm sees, they just bought, they're probably not likely to click, then you're not going to spend a lot of money on existing customers, right? So you don't need to manually exclude this. So I think in your case, you don't need to exclude it. Of course, you can maybe try like exclude last 14 days maybe. But yeah, essentially with 7-day click attribution, this exclusion doesn't need to be done manually. It happens naturally as the algorithm gets smarter.
Oh, interesting. Also for the campaign for prospecting, because of prospecting campaign, you never use, for my case, you don't use exclusion customer.
No, I wouldn't do it because of the nature of your business model and the products you're selling.
Okay.
I think in a lot of cases, it's more likely that you will have more upside from not excluding, in my opinion, just like, I'm not basing this on any data, of course, but we can definitely test this out. But I just think based on the products that you sell, it's very likely somebody buys one, maybe they like it a lot, and next week they want to buy one for a partner or a friend or something. Instead of, I think there's more upside to that happening than downside in terms of like showing them an ad and they're like, oh, this is annoying, I just bought that. It's just not going to happen. People don't care that much. And even if they do, paying for one extra impression is like there's very little money spent because you don't have that many customers. If you had hundreds of thousands of customers, then this would be much more relevant, right, to actually exclude these people. But in your case, that's just not the case for you. So yeah, more upside to including than downsides.
Okay. Understood.
All right. So yeah, the catalog campaign, keep that one, because I don't think you will be able to include your catalog ads in the same campaign. So you would have to have a separate catalog campaign, but that's okay. Like the overlap there is not going to be massive, and you have a lot of different SKUs. So it's going to be very important for you to have a catalog running as well. But you also want to do creative testing parallel to that one, because there's very limited testing you can do with a catalog, right? You can test different ad copies and stuff like that. And you can also, like when you have promotions and stuff, you can also run those promotional ads with the catalog. But yeah, keep this high spending campaign, one ad set, 7-day click, highest value, and same thing, 7-day click, highest value for the catalog campaign. And you don't need a separate retargeting campaign.
Now for the catalog, keep the 7-day click
Yeah. 7-day click.
7-day click, 1-day view? No, or only 7-day click?
Only 7-day click.
Okay.
We don't want 1-day view.
But what do you think about the different products? Because sometimes I'm watching some other marketer, they see that make one campaign for product, one campaign for country. Is correct or no for you?
For country, yes. If you have different countries, there's no overlap, right? Because one campaign is just focused on one country, another campaign is just focused on another country.
Okay.
As long as you make sure that they're not overlapping. They specifically target a specific country. So you have one for Italy, one for France, one for Germany, whatever.
Okay.
This is okay. I think you can do it this way. Now, you should also then evaluate quickly, does it make sense to spend a lot? Because when you start targeting different countries, there's a lot of differences. For example, Italy and Germany, or the way you communicate in your ads should be very different, right? So you have to adapt it. So that's going to spread your focus around different things, right? You can probably create a really good video ad in Italy, but it's maybe going to be more difficult for you or Germany or whatever, right? So that's something you need to keep in mind in terms of if you spread your focus on many different countries, unless you have a really long-term plan to really establish your brand in all these countries, then I think focusing on quickly what you see gives you the best results is where you should allocate your focus, especially at your current level. And then you can start to scale horizontally by going into different countries as you scale. Right. Okay. If you start to see, now it's hard to break past a certain daily spend or daily sales in Italy. Now you want to go into Germany or whatever.
Okay. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know if you see some campaign that was advertising in Europe and I made very good results, maybe much better than Italian results.
Yeah. So I did have a look at I broke down the results on country. There wasn't that much spend compared to Italy, but Germany had a little bit more than 8K spend and a total ROAS of 2.05. And France had a lot less spend, so 4.6K euros, but a ROAS of 2.55, which is so far in Italy, your ROAS was 1.7 something. So the efficiency or the ROAS is better for these two countries. Now, I didn't go too deep into looking at how you differentiated the marketing for these countries. So maybe did you translate everything for Germany and France in the ads, or how did you?
No. I only use English. Also for that reason, I think that there is a big chance to make very, very, very good results. The first time in July that I make advertising in Germany or France is the first time, and only in English, not Germany, not France. We have to start to translate the website the next year.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be very important. Yeah. So I added this because part of the findings of the audit that I did as well, which I was going to talk a little bit later about. But since we're on it, I do think you should definitely change up your landing page, so your website or the countries that you're targeting, right? So they immediately land on a page, a website in their language, in their currency. Of course, they also have euros, and also the communication you do in the ads are really important. It needs to be tailored to that audience, right?
Yeah.
So the creative testing process will be the same process, but it will be different findings. Maybe the winning ad in Italy is not the same winning format and creative type for Germany or France.
Yeah.
So it will have to be a separate testing process for each country because of how different it is, right? The findings doesn't necessarily play into each other. Maybe sometimes it does, but sometimes we've seen that it does not actually.
Okay. But for you, it's better to make one campaign for country, or maybe excluding that Italy is another story. Okay. One or more campaign for Italy. Okay. The other one for Europe. Okay. I can stack all the Europe country in just one, or maybe I can use one for Germany, or I have to focus on 2-3 countries that was good for me. There was many sales for me is Germany and France, or I can put all together.
Yeah, so this is definitely something I would split test. So you would set everything up, and you can start off by stacking them, and then parallel to that, you can do one campaign that's just for Germany.
Yeah.
Right. And then for Germany, you can then have it in German, the ads, the landing page. But for the one that's stacking them, you need it in English probably, right? Okay. And then you see how the performance is. More likely over time, I really do think that if you tailor the communication, the landing page and everything over time to country by country, you will have better results long term because of that. There's so many differences that's beyond just like language and there's like, in addition to language, it's culture, it's many things. And that all reflects in the results of the testing that you're doing towards each country.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But definitely test that, that's something you should test. And it's an easy split test or A/B test to do because it's just 2 campaigns. You start maybe with Germany and then you start with a stat campaign and then you see how it performs.
Okay.
Great. All right. Let's see. The next thing that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, you're running an awareness campaign. You don't need to run that one. You can just turn that one off or just reallocate the spend to the sales campaign.
Okay. Because I'm thinking to make a awareness campaign because in the long period, I'm thinking that maybe that people that see the first time my brand, they didn't buy. So maybe if they see me more time, they will trust me. They will maybe the purchase.
I understand you're thinking because we have also tested this for our clients. We've actually tested this and at the end of the day, it doesn't improve the results because this process is already happening in your sales campaigns. You don't need to manually set up a separate campaign to do this. Like within the sales campaigns, this is happening. Like the people that saw your ads, clicked on them months ago, sometimes the algorithm sees, okay, let's continue to warm them up. Let's try again, So the algorithm takes care of this for you, but in a much more sophisticated way.
Okay.
Than you can do with an awareness campaign. So the spend will just yield you a better return if you put that money on your sales campaign.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a big budget on it. So like if you want to run it, but it's just based on all our tests, it's just not worth it. You will just put that same money on your sales campaign and you will have better results.
Yeah.
At least don't spend like a lot of time like putting in new ads into the awareness campaign and stuff like that. Okay. If it adds work to you, then don't do it.
Okay. Yeah. It's no work for me that campaign.
Yeah.
I see.
Just don't spend time on it. All right. Yeah. So creative analysis. Are you still seeing my screen, by the way? I'm now inside a Notion document. Are you seeing this?
Yeah. I see.
Yeah. All right. So some findings from looking at the creatives. I see that a lot of static images actually work pretty well in 2024. This one doesn't run anymore. But in terms of like a volume and ROAS number, this one, you got a lot of engagement.
Yeah,
that one, shares.
I made incredible result with that picture. And, I'm going to be honest, I made one campaign and duplicate, but I made some mistake because I put that campaign in worldwide, not targeting in Italy. And I'm starting to see incredible sales, incredible ROAS, all spread in all the world. And I was thinking, oh my God, maybe some video was viral. I don't know. Maybe some of our organic content was viral. It's not that reason. I see that I mistake to put the targeting not in Italy but worldwide, and I see that kind of picture. I was made very, very, very good result. And as you see, the language was in Italian, not in English. And some people buy that bracelet that the price was 49 euro, and they spent 30 euro to only for international shipping. Was incredible.
Oh wow! So yeah, pretty good ROAS, a lot of purchases.
You can see
what I wanted to see is if you have the translation setting. It's a post idea. Oh yeah, what we could do is we can break down. This one, big country. Yeah, the spend is spread. Wow.
In all the world. As for that reason, I told you it was incredible.
Wow. And yeah, super interesting. So why did you stop it?
Because the result was dropping a little bit, and I think that kind of creative was better on summer period, not in winter period. But I know that was worldwide. But I see that sometimes make the document for shipping in Nepal, in Mexico was really messy, and I stopped it. But it was amazing, that kind of creative. I don't know why. It was completely amazing. I never touch it, that one, because maybe 1 or 2 times I touch it, but
okay. Okay. So try copy this one. Okay. And put it into your current main campaign, where you have, of course, probably not all of these countries. Do you only have Italy in the current new campaign?
Okay.
Spending one. Because what you can do is you can just use all the social engagement from it and continue to run it. I think it should be possible. You have to test it out, but all you do is like you select the ad, right? And then what you can also do is you can show you an example right here. You can go ahead.
Duplicate?
Yes. So usually I just go Control C.
With copy ID?
Yeah.
With the post ID? Yeah.
No, you don't need to do. Why is it not working? I think it's because the access I have don't allow me to do copy.
Okay.
But what you could do is, you see, I can't duplicate.
Okay.
But what you could do is you can duplicate it and then add it into the new campaign.
The same one that I will launch in 1 hour, because I understand that I have to switch off all the one that's not working.
Yeah. So when you do the change from, you want to do the ROAS targets, right, of 1.2 ROAS,
okay,
and you want to do highest value, like we talked about, you can also then, in that ad set, you can go through and find all high-performing ads, so such as that one. This one. You can also do this one, by the way, because this one also got amazing engagement.
Yeah.
And you can add these ones into that campaign, and you just see if it will continue to perform. Okay. Likely it will, might not, because it's more summer focused. But at the same time, look at all the engagement. If we can keep this, then it will be really interesting to see. Sometimes an old good performer can continue to perform once you run it again, if it's not been running for a while.
Okay.
And this format also works really well, obviously. So continue using carousel format and do a lot of testing there.
Yeah. So you think that I put all of these 3 creative in the new one campaign, also if are different products? You mean 2 bracelets and 1 Christmas gift box all together in one campaign?
So are you asking if you should have different products within the same ad set and campaign?
Yeah.
That's totally fine, because we're optimizing for, at the end of the day, we don't really care which product they're buying.
Okay.
If they're coming in and generating higher value orders, then it doesn't matter which direction they come into the store. So what we do when we do testing is we have all of them, not all of them, because we already know which products are performing and which ones are not. But if there's multiple high-performing products, then we add all of those into the same campaign. Now, the key thing here is that you need to optimize for highest value, not volume. If you optimize for volume, then it's likely that the cheaper products is what's going to get prioritized in terms of spend, because it's easier to get a lot of sales from a product that is priced lower. But that doesn't mean that if you get a lot of sales volume, it's going to get you a better overall bottom line, right?
Yeah.
Because we want to optimize for value, high value customers. So make sure you can mix all products within the same campaign, but you need to make sure that you have highest value as the bid strategy. So set the ROAS target.
And for you, the perfect campaign needs to have like 2 carousel, 1 video, 2 picture. There is a formula. There is a formula to make it with.
It depends on which format is working the best for you. It's very different for some accounts. We have only static image working. So not carousel, not video, but only static images. So within that account, all we do is we test a bunch of different images.
Okay.
Since we already know that this is the best format because we've done a lot of testing, we don't spend any time creating videos because it's just not a good return on the time and money and resources spent making videos. Yeah. We know that this is the best format, so we double down on it. Even though video looks nice and sometimes, it might be tempting to focus on it, even if it doesn't show results in the ad account. At the end of the day, the approach that we take are really data driven, right? So if carousel is what's working, then we double down on carousel. If it's images, then images is what we focus on.
Which is the weird things that I'm going to tell you is that the last Christmas, 2023, I had also just one campaign, one ABO campaign with carousel and static images. And I copied that creative in one with the target accessories, another one with target jewelry. All this campaign was almost the same creative and they make very, very, very good result. This year, I make the same, but I duplicate with another creative. I duplicate with other creative. I made many different campaigns because in my mind, I say that I will make a very, very big month. The Christmas period is the perfect period. And I totally make a mistake.
Yep, that's okay, man. That's how you get better. You make mistakes and then you figure out what works best and then you continue to do that. Yeah, so continue to test. Like, this is something if you watch my videos, you've probably seen me say it a bunch of times. Like, now creative is king. Like, creative is what can take your performance to the next level because of the advertising platform has been around for so long. It has so much data, not just your data, but it has data from other advertisers and it's been getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
The targeting is now also after the iOS stuff, right? It's not as easy to track people. The targeting is pretty much, if you have historic data in your ad account, it figures itself out. If with the right optimization settings, you don't need to test a bunch of ad sets to find the right targeting anymore. This was before, but it's not like that anymore. Creative is where we spend all of our resources and time. So like on a week-to-week basis, we try to launch between 4 to 6 new ads for our portfolio, for our clients. The reason for that is you need two things to find the winners. You need volume, a lot of new ads launched because a lot of them are going to fail. So if we don't launch enough, then we're more likely not going to find a winner.
You have one campaign to test all the creative with the small budget.
We just one campaign and then we just introduce new ads over time. Once we have ads that's not been performing for a while, we just switch them off. Okay. And then we delete them over time because you have like a max of 50 ads per ad set. So over time, once you continue this process, at some point, you need to start deleting ads. This is for the evergreen campaign. Of course, when you have promotional like Black Friday campaigns or that's parallel. Yeah, that's parallel to this. You don't add this into the same campaign.
Okay.
But yeah, for the evergreen, 4 to 6 new ads every week. And in your case, based on the performance, which looks to be like catalog and images, that's actually a good signal for you because it's easier to make static images, right?
Yeah.
Than videos. With the clients we have where we need to make new videos, like it's a lot more work. But you already know.
Yeah. But right now we have another person in our team that make all the video because my perfect idea is to go in many organic content just to arrive to many people that know how we are, what we can do, and how we do it. Maybe they will become customer, but it's only one part of the game. All the other is to make some good creative to attract new customers. So
exactly.
It's all the part of the game. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't want to be like someone that put all the time of his life to make some video, to make some reel, it's not what I think when I build the brand. Because right now, in this period, as you see, Ole, I think that could be impossible to make a brand without put his face. And I need to make a video because the people are going to see, because you are a small brand, because, the personal brand is important. But I think that there is a chance to make a brand without show what you are doing every day at your community. For me,
what you can build your own, which takes time, or you can just use other people's brands, right? And it doesn't need to be like massive influencers. Like what we recently started doing for one client that we took on a few months ago. They're selling like a software or like a software service where people looking for jobs can go in and put in all their information, and then they use that software to get matched with employers. Now that's like, they had a lot of boring ads, like very commercial, professional, like get your next job here, very boring stuff.
Okay.
Then we went out and we found a creator that wasn't super expensive within our budget. And he didn't have like a big following on Instagram or anything, but he was like very typical person that would be within our target audience, right?
Yeah.
So we made him make a video that was really relatable. So even though he is not an influencer, people don't recognize him, they still relate to him. They still look at him as like, oh, this guy has the same issues I'm having, and he's using this platform to solve this problem. And we've seen amazing results. As soon as we launched it, it totally changed the results in the ad account. So sometimes when you do the creative testing, you test what works the best for you. So you look at historically, okay, the static image have been working best. Let's make an iteration of what's been working. Now in the mix, you always want to add something that's new, right? Something you haven't tested before. And that can be based off what you look at when you look at your competitor. Like, what are they doing? Oh, this I've never tried before. Okay, make a variation of this and add it into your mix. Because if you want to take the results to a whole different level, you also need to do something very different. So iterate, but also test new stuff. And that's how we do our creative testing process for our clients. And that's how we sometimes find these amazing ads that just totally takes things to the new level, as I just told you in that example.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
How many times you give to one creative to work? For example, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and then you cut off, or maybe
we usually run things for at least 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, because you wanna have all the weekdays.
Okay.
Because sometimes you have one weekday that's working much better than all the other ones, and if that new ad that you creative hasn't gotten that weekday to be tested, then maybe it could work. You just shut it down too early. So 7 days. And for the clients that we work with, that's not an issue. Like if you can't run things for at least 7 days, then you're going to have a really hard time, because there is so much randomness that affects your progress. Because 1 week you have bad results, maybe just because of external factors in the audience in the market that you're targeting. And if you spend a lot of time and resources creating a batch of ads that you truly believe in, it's all backed by data that you've analyzed in your ad account. But because of this randomness that's happening, you get emotional and you turn it off after 3 days. And then you just wasted a lot of, because you're not patient, you just wasted a lot of resources, time, and it's just very, very hard to get better results when you do like a 2 day, 3 day. I know some people do that, but it's just like we always see like long-term better results when we can be more patient and use more reliable data, which you only have if you allow things to run for at least all the weekdays, right?
Yeah, I'm agree with you, because I'm listening to people that say, if that ads don't work in 2 days, I will switch off. But I think that it's not always the same period, because if you see your result, I think that the average result are the king. So 1 month gonna be perfect, other month gonna be not so good, but I see the average result. This the secret. But right now in the Christmas period, you have a very short time to make very good results. So if
it's a different setting.
It's not perfect for me, because one campaign not work. Okay, switch off, copy, do another one. Change targeting, change objective, change ROAS, and I make a totally waste of money for me in this period. But I was so sad about it, because I'm saying that I will make a very good, but okay, Robert, could happen. Everything you make, you will. The important is to learn something in your mistakes. So, the way you talk, the way you explain is very, very amazing. I like too much, because I'm following a lot of marketers on YouTube, international marketer. You are very, 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 very good. Yeah, because
thank you, appreciate it.
I like how to explain, and you don't say that put the budget on incredible spending, and your process is to make good things day by day, and you see the incredible result from 1 year, from 2 years. So I think about you, but sometimes when I see some marketers spend 100K a day, I think that is possible, but they say that I made this one just for the volume. Sometimes Facebook doesn't give you the good ROAS, but they use Facebook just to increase the volume. But I think if someone don't make a profit in, for example, in 2 million a month on advertising spend, how can it make to sustain the company? I think that gonna be the profit gonna be the king, but not in the first period. Okay, I'm totally agree, because I can make money now, but I can compound the effect in 5 years, in 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. It's different, of course, with big companies that they have spend goals, They actually have to hit a spending goal because they have already a set marketing budget for the year. It's very different how they operate compared to like a bootstrapped small e-commerce business.
Yeah.
So if you apply those strategies that those guys use, then it's not the best for you. You have a totally different way of running your business. All right. So the other things, I'll just quickly skim through them because I don't have that much more time for today. Mm-hmm. But some other findings that we talked about was the countries. So what you would do there essentially is different campaign per country, and then you can have one stacked one, and then one where you just do Germany or just do France, and then you see how the results go. Again, as I said, I think over time you will probably have better results over time if you just focus on one country at a time, because you will do the testing process for that specific country, which gets better once you start to understand what they like and how it differs from other countries, right? The next thing is Google Ads. You said it hasn't been working for you in the past. You should definitely have a bottom of funnel setup. There's no way you can lose money from this because you're only targeting people that are searching for your products and your brand. So when you start to scale on Meta, more people will start to search for you on Google because they see your ads, they see your product, and then maybe they don't click on it immediately, or maybe they click on it, but they leave your page. Okay. But then later on in that day, they want to go in and make the purchase. They search for your brand terms. Okay. And if your ad doesn't pop up, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to find you. If all of your products and likely also the product that they looked at shows up within Google when they search for you, then you minimize that friction. So they quickly find your product, Google Shopping. Okay. They go in and they complete the purchase. You can also put ROAS goals so you don't spend any unprofitable ad spend on Google. That's how I would do it in the beginning. And then once you get up to really high volume, then you can start looking to scaling on Google as well. But that's not for now. What you should do now is just have a proper bottom of funnel setup that will allow you to capitalize more on the demand creation that you're doing with Meta. So that's the only thing you would do now. So currently I don't see any shopping ads. I don't know if you have your product feed integrated with Google, but you definitely get that set up. And
one campaign for clicking are $3 a day. $3 a day, only if you search dentistry.
Yes, that's okay. You can start with a small budget, and then it should yield you a really, really good ROAS, if you have it set up correctly. So you're not going to waste money on it. You're using WooCommerce, right?
Yeah.
So what you should use is Metoric, not Triplewell, but Metoric. Triplewell, I don't think they still only have Shopify. And some other, so what you would use is Metoric. We're using this for 2 of our clients. It's the same thing as Triplewell, essentially, at least in terms of how we use it. It's not like a tracking software, but it's more like staying on top of your numbers, which is essential, right? Don't just look inside your ads manager at that data. You want to look at the marketing efficiency ratio, or the blended ROAS, where you blend in the ad spend from Google and Meta. Okay. In addition to that, you want to see how your bottom line develops, because even though the results within Meta ads might be getting better, it's not taking into account the margin on the products that are being bought. But within Metoric, you can look at the cost of goods. Okay. And it can take that into account. So you see on a day-to-day basis how your bottom line, your actual net profit changes.
Oh, fantastic.
So this, you should definitely set this up.